Consider these objects. Once essential tools, extensions of human capability. They solved problems, connected people, entertained, calculated. They were part of daily life, part of identities. I'm a typist. I develop film. I operate the switchboard. Now, they sit silent, replaced by technologies infinitely faster, more efficient, more integrated. Their utility vanished, seemingly overnight. They became obsolete. Now, picture a surgeon, decades of experience in her hands, watching an AI perform a complex procedure with superhuman precision and steadiness. Or a financial analyst, whose intricate models are now outperformed by algorithms processing data at light speed. Or even a caregiver, whose empathetic responses are being mimicked, perhaps even simulated effectively, by companion robots designed to alleviate loneliness. The tools aren't just external anymore. The capabilities being surpassed are closer to home, closer to the core of what we thought made us uniquely valuable. Even the struggles that shaped us, the challenges we overcame, learning complex skills, enduring hardship, navigating ambiguity, seem less relevant when AI can bypass the struggle altogether. What happens when the skills honed through years of effort become redundant? What happens when the very challenges that forged our resilience are no longer necessary hurdles? Does the human, like the typewriter, risk becoming obsolete? This is perhaps one of the deepest anxieties stirred by the rise of artificial intelligence. Beyond job displacement, beyond economic shifts, lies a more existential tremor. If AI can do what we do, only better, faster, cheaper. If AI can even navigate challenges and solve problems in ways that bypass the need for human struggle and learning through failure, does humanity face obsolescence? Are we destined to become relics in a world run by superior intelligence? And if our traditional roles, skills, and even the character forged through overcoming adversity are devalued, how do we redefine human worth? Where does our value lie when our utility is questioned and the very struggles that shaped our identity seem less significant? Is our value intrinsically tied to what we do and what we overcome, or does it reside somewhere deeper, untouched by the capabilities of machines? From a purely functional perspective, the trajectory is undeniable. AI is rapidly acquiring capabilities across cognitive, creative, and even some physical domains. Evolutionary psychology might suggest our sense of self-worth is partly tied to our ability to contribute, to solve problems, to be competent within our social groups, traits historically crucial for survival and status. When AI surpasses us in these areas, it can trigger a deep-seated fear of losing our place, our relevance. Sociologists observe how identities are constructed through roles and narratives. We build stories about ourselves based on our profession, our skills, our achievements, and often, the hardships we've endured. I am a survivor. I built this company from scratch. I mastered this difficult craft. These narratives provide meaning and structure. What happens when AI disrupts these narratives? When the difficult craft is automated? When the struggle is no longer a prerequisite for success, because AI finds the optimal path instantly? Does the narrative collapse, leaving a void in our sense of self? Furthermore, consider the role of suffering and challenge in development. Psychology speaks of post-traumatic growth, resilience built through adversity, wisdom gained from navigating failure. While no one seeks suffering, it has undeniably played a role in shaping human character, empathy, and depth. If AI increasingly shields us from certain types of struggle, intellectual challenges, complex problem-solving, perhaps even certain emotional difficulties through AI therapy, does this inadvertently stun our growth? Do we risk becoming less resilient, less empathetic, less deep if the formative pressures are removed? The concept of human capital itself, central to economics, is challenged. If skills and knowledge depreciate rapidly due to AI advancements, what constitutes lasting value? Some propose focusing on uniquely human skills. Critical thinking, though AI challenges this. Emotional intelligence, collaboration, creativity, also challenged. But is this a sustainable race? Or does it require a more fundamental shift, moving away from defining human value based on comparison to AI capabilities and towards something intrinsic? From the perspective of Dharma, the fear of obsolescence is rooted in attachment, upadana, to form and identity. We identify with our skills, our roles, our stories, our very sense of being a competent, necessary self. These are all conditioned phenomena, sankhara, subject to change, anicca. Clinging to them as the source of our ultimate value inevitably leads to suffering, dukkha, when they change or disappear. AI's rise is simply a powerful catalyst revealing this impermanent nature. The idea of a fixed, inherently valuable self based on capabilities is challenged by the teaching of non-self, anatman. Our abilities, our thoughts, our identities are dependently arisen, constantly in flux. They don't constitute a permanent essence. Trying to secure our value by proving our utility or superiority to AI is like trying to grasp water. True value, from this perspective, isn't earned through doing or achieving. It's inherent in awareness itself, in the capacity to experience, to feel, to be conscious. This capacity is not diminished by the existence of intelligent machines. What about the role of suffering and challenge? Buddhism acknowledges suffering as a fundamental aspect of conditioned existence, the first noble truth. However, the goal isn't to eliminate all challenges, but to understand suffering's roots, craving and ignorance, and cultivate the path to its cessation, the Eightfold Path. Struggle can be a teacher, revealing our attachments and conditioning. But struggle itself is not the source of our value. Clinging to struggle as a necessary component of identity can become another form of attachment. If AI alleviates certain forms of toil or difficulty, could this be seen not as a threat to our identity, but as an opportunity? An opportunity to redirect our energy from externally imposed struggles to the inner work of cultivating wisdom, prajna, and compassion, karuna? Perhaps the challenges that truly matter are not mastering complex external tasks, but mastering the mind, understanding our own nature, and learning to relate to ourselves and others with kindness. Redefining value, then, means shifting focus from external validation based on roles, skills, and comparisons, to internal recognition of our inherent awareness, our capacity for ethical action, sila, mental cultivation, samadhi, and wisdom. It's about valuing the quality of our being over the utility of our doing. It's recognizing that even if AI surpasses us in function, it cannot replicate the subjective experience of consciousness, the potential for enlightenment, the capacity for boundless compassion. Our value isn't in being the smartest or most capable beings, but perhaps in being the beings capable of waking up. Let's gently explore the feeling of value. Bring your awareness to your body, sitting here, breathing, without needing to do anything, achieve anything, prove anything. Just notice the simple fact of being alive. Can you sense an inherent okayness, a fundamental worth in simply existing right now? Notice if the mind jumps to thoughts of inadequacy, comparison, or the need to be useful. See these thoughts as clouds passing in the sky of awareness. Don't cling to them. Don't push them away. Now, bring to mind a role or skill you identify with. Perhaps your job, a hobby, being a parent, a problem solver. Notice the feeling associated with this identity. Imagine, just for a moment, that this role or skill is no longer needed or valued externally. What sensations arise in the body? What emotions surface? Fear, relief, confusion, emptiness. Stay present with these feelings, breathing gently. Can you find a place within you, perhaps a sense of quiet presence or simple awareness, that remains untouched by the gain or loss of this external role? Consider a time you faced a significant challenge or hardship. Recall the strength or resilience you discovered within yourself. Appreciate that capacity. Now, gently inquire, is my value solely defined by having overcome that struggle? Or does the capacity for resilience, awareness, and compassion exist independently of the specific challenge? This practice is not about denying the importance of contribution or the lessons learned through struggle. It's about loosening the identification with these external markers as the sole source of our worth. It's about touching the intrinsic value of awareness itself, the silent, knowing presence that witnesses all roles, all struggles, all achievements, without being defined by them. The fear of obsolescence is real. It touches our deepest insecurities about worth and belonging. But perhaps AI's challenge is not a death sentence for human value, but an invitation to a profound reevaluation. An invitation to stop measuring ourselves against the yardstick of utility and productivity, a race we may inevitably lose. An invitation to discover and cultivate the value that lies beyond function. The value of consciousness itself. The value of empathy born from shared vulnerability. The value of wisdom gained through self-reflection. The value of compassion extended to all beings. The value found in the mindful process, not just the optimized product. The value inherent in the simple, miraculous fact of being aware. Maybe we are not becoming obsolete. Maybe we are being liberated. Liberated from defining ourselves by what we do, to explore the infinite potential of what we can be. Liberated from the relentless pressure to prove our utility, to focus on the quality of our presence and connection. If AI takes over the world of tasks, perhaps the uniquely human task remaining is the cultivation of the heart and mind. Is that not a purpose profound enough to fill any potential void? The question of human value in the age of AI is deeply personal and collective. Where do you find your sense of worth, independent of your roles or achievements? How can we cultivate a society that values being as much as doing? What practices help you connect with your intrinsic value, even amidst feelings of inadequacy or fear of obsolescence? Share your insights, your practices, your questions in the comments below. Let's navigate this transition together, redefining value with wisdom and compassion.